I felt like I was being dragged through the mud emotionally, spiritually, and mentally for a long time. And the reason why I felt like I was being dragged through the mud is because I kept trying to get a job. I have been fired from a total of 4 jobs in my entire career as a professional. And with that experience, I want to talk to you about something that you should be aware of when you experience job loss. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Marquita. I am a spiritual coach and author, and also the host of the Alchemy Soul podcast. So if you're interested in checking the podcast out, please be sure to check the description. On this channel, I talk all about reinvention, transformation, and what you need to do in order to remember who you are before they told you who you had to be. If you're interested in any of that, please make sure that you subscribe and also turn on the notification bell so you can know when I post videos, which is going to be every day. It's going to be every day. Okay. Because I am on a 365 long 365-day long form content challenge, which means I'm showing up every day. You're going to get a video from me every single day. Long form, okay? Because we got some things to talk about, okay? We got some things to learn, some things that we need to expound on, right? One of the biggest misconceptions that I feel some people have about people who don't work traditional jobs is that when you are fired from one job, that it is easy to just go and get another job. I think there is a misconception about how easy it is to get another job. And I say this as someone who was fired in 2019. And from 2019 all the way up until about 2025, I was consistently looking for work, right? Like I was applying and applying and applying for jobs because I needed more support, right? I needed more financial support, or I felt or thought that I needed more financial support. And from 2019 till about 2025, I didn't work any traditional kind of roles. During this time and me applying, I applied for all kind of roles, right? I applied for roles in my field, which I am a social worker. I'm a licensed clinical social worker now, but at that time I was a master's in social worker. And during that time, I applied for so many positions and everything that you can imagine, from retail to the only thing that I probably didn't apply to was like fast food, but I definitely applied for like Starbucks barista kind of things and Targets. I applied for Ross. Um, I just applied for a lot of positions, right? Grocery stores, quick trips, like gas stations, Aldi, and different kinds of roles like that. Because it was like at one point I didn't want to put too much more on myself because I was already mentally going through different things. And so I didn't want a job that was like a lot of heavy lifting mentally and emotionally. So I decided that I was going to get something that was easy, right? I thought that it was going to be easy for me to get these kinds of jobs. No, no. I think that it is so important as Black women that we have a contingency plan. We always need to have something in different lanes lined up so that we can make sure that we always have our skills on point so we can keep the money flowing, right? Because what I see is in the workplace that Black women are a threat to the environment for whatever reason, right? But 9 times out of 10, it's because we're smart, we're sassy, we have boundaries, right? And we can outperform the highest of the high, right? Like we can outperform the highest of the high and we can always see what can be better. And some people don't like when you tell them that they could be doing their job better, right? Even if it's given in a way that is like, this is how we can help the team grow, right? Even if it's like team building, looking at the team as a whole. That's why I got fired from my last job. I came in and I'm like, oh, y'all need this because this training is not effective, and this will be more helpful if you implemented this during this training. But I was the one going through the training, right? So if I'm the one going through the training, this is my perception. You should be able to take that feedback and, put it in your back pocket for the next people that are coming in. No, they saw that as a threat, right? You know too much. You think you know too much. Of course, nobody directly said these things to me, right? This is hearsay. However, when you know, like when you know who you are, and I know who I am, right? And I'm just being myself authentically. I'm always, no matter what, because I'm a Virgo, right? Like I'm a Virgo, I see how things can run smoother, right? I can see how things can work more effectively. I can see how things can, um, what is the word I want to say? What is the word? I can just see how things can be more effective with different systems that can be put into play. And so people don't like that, right? Like people just don't like that. When I was a program manager, when I got hired from that job in 2019, I was like, as I checked out from the position itself. But the reason why I checked out is because I was like, this is a lot. I'm a program manager, I'm a case manager, I'm an outreach coordinator, I'm a grant writer, I'm a policy writer. Like, you're having me perform several roles within one role and you're only paying me $40,000. What? And I think about that all the time. Like, what? Like, that's crazy. You mean to tell me that you really thought that you was about to get all of that labor? And you did for a little while until I was like, nah, I'm doing the bare minimum. And when I started doing the bare minimum, it was like, well, what are you doing? Well, you need to hire some people, like I'm only one person. And you're not about to squeeze every single ounce of skill out of me just because you think that you can. Like, I'm smart. I can put a whole program together. I can manage a program. I can do all of the things that you asked me to do. However, you're not paying me enough to do it. And actually, money for me is not everything, right? Which is why I don't work a traditional job, right? Because peace of mind, um, calmness, peace, like less stress, less worry. Like that is the life that I live. That is the life that I want to live. And I want to live a life where I put myself at the center and everything else matches my lifestyle, right? Like, I want the money to match my lifestyle, not my lifestyle match the money, right? So it's like I'm putting myself in the center of my world and allowing everything else to manifest around the things that I want. But the reason why I'm talking about this today is because I feel that there are many, many people that are stuck inside of jobs or positions that they do not like, that they do not enjoy doing. And even there are quite a few women who have been laid off from their jobs and from their positions. And I am here to, just be an example, right? I'm here to be an example to you to say that you can do what you want to do, even if it is that you want to get another job. If you are applying and applying and applying for jobs like I did for so long because I wanted another job because I wanted security, I will tell you at some point, if it isn't working, you have to take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, what is it that I truly want out of life? Ask yourself, what is it that, as a little girl or as a young boy, what did I want to be when I wanted to grow up? Go back to the beginning. Go back to the things that you enjoy doing as a child and see what comes up. Those are clues, right? Those are clues for the things that you actually want and desire out of life. For me, when I was a kid, I wanted to be America's Next Top Model, right? I wanted to be a model. And it was less about the industry and more about the performance, right? It was the walking, it was the being center stage, it was the, being behind the camera, the posing, the actual modeling, right? And in 2019 I competed in a bodybuilding competition. That for me was my version of being a model because I got to be center stage, right? I got to be in front of everybody. I got to pose in front of everybody. I got to get my pictures taken and I got to, it was just like a dream come true, right? And it wasn't in the exact sense of me being a model, right? But it was the things that I wanted out of the modeling. And even now, right? There's a thing of being center stage. There's a thing about being known or seen and recognized, right? Even if it's like on a smaller scale, right? But that's just who I am, and those are the things that I want for myself. In addition to, I want to help people, right? I had to figure out for me what what is it that keeps coming up that's easiest for me? What is it that encompasses, is that the word? What is the totality of all of the things that truly bring me joy? Communication is at the top, right? Because I love speaking and I love writing. I've been writing ever since I was a little girl. So that's a clue, right? That's a clue my grandmother told me. She said, never stop writing. She wrote her entire life, right? Also, she had journals upon journals upon journals when she passed away. And she told me, never stop writing. That's a clue, right? That's a clue for me. When people, before I knew that I was being an inspiration or motivation by the things that I shared or by the things that, the positive energy I would give out through Snapchat and through Instagram, before people started recognizing it, I was just doing it just because people just need a little light, right? People just need a little positive energy. People just want to be checked in on. I would just say like this is just a check. I'm just checking in. How are you feeling? Because I know for myself, I'm a very empathic person, right? So I feel everything. And I know the weight of the world is like it's heavy, a lot of heaviness in the United States, right? People are suffering. People are going crazy mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It is war within. But it is because it's a number of things, right? First thing being the food, second thing being the phones. I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm trying to stay focused. My ADHD is going everywhere, but I'm going to get back to the point. My point is, right, that you going back to the things that you enjoy doing as a child are clues to what you can be doing creatively as an adult, right? It takes some creation. We are the creators of our reality, whether you believe it or not. Like, this is a co creative experience for those who are believers and who are Christians or who believe in maybe a God outside of them. The God outside of you, you know, I'm not even gonna, but the God outside of you is waiting on you to come into create like co-creation with them to manifest the reality. Like, it's both of the energies working together. Like, it can't work without you working it. And so if that's, your belief system, then you have to come up with whatever you want to create for your reality. And this is why I always say, like, we create our realities because it is a co-creation. We do it together. For me, of course, I believe that my God is within me, right? And so if God is within me, I have all of the power, right? I have all of everything that I need in order to create externally, right? Because I have a little bit, a little, we all have a little bit of God in us, right? I have God in me. God is inside of me. However, if I think about it, and what I say is I call it spirit. If I have spirit and I have ego, which is myself, right? The ego is myself, my conscious self, and then spirit is spirit. And so if I have these two energies within me, spirit is waiting on me to decide for myself, what am I going to do differently? Spirit, when I tell you, I felt like I was being dragged through the mud emotionally, spiritually, and mentally for a long time. And the reason why I felt like I was being dragged through the mud is because I kept trying to get a job. I kept trying to do what the opposite of what spirit actually wanted me to do. Why? Because I was scared. Why? Because I didn't want to be seen. Why? Because I was afraid that people would judge me or think that I was too know it, like I was a know-it-all, or that I don't know what I'm talking about, whatever. Like, I was afraid of all of those things. The fear really can be the death of you if you don't decide to actually step out of that fear and just do whatever it is you want to do. Why? Because it wears on your mental health, right? And for me, I was like, either spirit going to keep dragging me, kicking and screaming, or I'm going to actually just jump off of this cliff, right? But either way, I'm going, right? It's like, what did I just put? I just made a Facebook post about this. I said, you either get pushed or you jump. I would rather jump, right? Because if you get pushed, you're getting pushed out into the unknown. When you jump, you are taking your authority back, and you know that you are going into the unknown. Either way, you're going into the unknown, right? Because it's always, you don't ever know what is going to manifest or come from whatever you decide to do, right? I'm doing this 365-day long form content challenge. I don't know what is going to come from this, right? However, I do know that I am doing the work that Spirit has called me to do, because I get a lot of joy and I get a lot of um, internal feedback, like a lot of good energy internally that affirms and confirms that I am actually in alignment and doing what I'm supposed to do. So I know I started this video talking about that I was fired from 4 jobs. However, and I wanted to remind you that you have all of the power within you to create your reality. I wanted to remind you that whatever it is that you want to do, you can actually do it. And I'm gonna be honest, y'all, like, I don't remember what this video was intended for. However, I'm going to say this. Whatever I said today, it was meant to reach somebody, and I know that, right? A lot of times when I'm speaking, when I'm just going on tangents or when I'm just going down rabbit holes, it's normally because spirit is speaking through me, right? So I feel that whatever I've said is a very specific message and that somebody needs to hear it. It is time for you to step out of the box. It is time for you to do what you actually want to do. If you don't do it, spirit is going to keep dragging you, kicking and screaming. And it hurts. It's painful. It does not feel good. It does not feel good. I know. However, get some authority. Take some authority. Take your power back. And remember that you can have, be, and do whatever you want in this lifetime. You're the creator of the reality, right? Create. Do what you want to do. What is it? What is it that you want to do? Do you want to move out of the country? Do you want to move out of the states? I think moving to a new environment is definitely the best identity shift. Do you want to move back home? Do you want to move back with your mom or dad if you can? Do you want to move closer to family? Do you, what do you want to do? Whatever it is, do it. Just do it. And if anything, I'd be like, just do it for the plot. That's how I end up. I feel like that's how I end up having so many amazing experiences in life is because I was just like, well, why not? Let me just do it and see what happens because that is creation, right? Like that is how we create our reality. And there is always a lesson in every single thing that we go through. And always, there is always an ebb and flow with everything that we do, right? So if it's always a ebb and flow, if there's always a negative and positive, if there's always two sides of the equation, what? Like, why stay in a box? For what? For what? Like, no reason to stay in a box because it's always the same thing no matter what you decide to do anyway. Okay? I don't know who that message is for, and it was all over the place, but I needed to say it. I am currently on a 365-day long form content challenge, and I will see you all back here tomorrow. Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls.